Meditation is a way of life. There is no magic in meditation. There are no secrets to meditation. Meditation does not instantly do away with stress or ailments or mysteriously open doors to exotic psychic and psychedelic experiences. Most importantly, meditation is not some advanced technique that is the privilege of yoga gurus and enlightened monks confined to the Tibetan and Himalayan mountains. It is true that meditation and concepts associated with it may appear abstract for a novice, but even with abstract concepts, there is room for systematic understanding and practice. This wonderful and powerful state can be learned, just like anything else in life. Hello, my name is Sunder Iyer. Welcome to this workshop and thank you for taking time to watch this presentation. Namaste. I feel honored to share my perspectives with you. I was introduced to yoga and meditation when I was 10 or 12 years old. I spent my entire youth in a spiritual retreat or ashram in India. It was here that I met some awe-inspiring yoga masters. These gurus had complete self-mastery over their bodies and minds. They seemed to possess the secret of being youthful, radiant, and energetic all the time. 35 years and more of living and experiencing this powerful path, I have finally braved myself to present my practice and perceptions of yoga and meditation to you. I do so with all humility and in the awareness that the concepts I share, the methods I advocate, are merely some of the many, many ways meditation and yoga can be practiced and experienced. What is meditation? Attempting to describe or define a state of consciousness that exists beyond the thought and the word is a sign of ignorance in itself. The very fact that we define meditation in words, we limit our knowledge, perception, and understanding of it. And yet, in spite of knowing this, I continue to indulge in describing and defining meditation. So please, bear with my ignorance. In one word, meditation is being. It was a wonderful sunrise that morning on the beach in Chennai, a city in South India. I was visiting one of my masters and he suggested that we do yoga on the beach that early morning. We began at 3 a.m. and it was around 5 a.m. when we had finished our yoga practice and were meditating silently. When I was done meditating, I opened my eyes only to see the sun just about rising over the calm ocean. The sight was magical, spectacular, and picture perfect. I noticed my master was motionless. I did not want him to miss this dazzling display unfolding itself before our eyes. "You are missing the sunrise, master," I said. "It is more beautiful than anything I can ever imagine." There was silence. I noticed my master had not stirred. Well, I decided to enjoy the sunrise. It was so captivating that morning. Minutes ticked by. Slowly but surely, the deep red glow of the sun turned into orange. It must have been half hour later or so that I heard the familiar resounding exhalation followed by a couple of short cleansing breaths. I knew my master had finished. I turned to face him. He opened his eyes, but kept them focused on a spot on the sand in front of him. He spoke softly. When in the state of being, he said, you simply observe. There is no time or room for judgment. No good, no bad, no beautiful, no ugly. He paused and looked at me. If you believe in beauty, Sunder, he said, if you believe in beauty, you have to bear with ugliness. If you are attached to your likes, you have to bear with someone else's dislikes. And every time you chase light or knowledge, know this, the shadow of ignorance is stealthily stalking you. Meditation is simply being. Sunrises have never been the same to me after that. For many of us, the art of simply being appears vague, abstract, or difficult to comprehend. And that is because right from the moment we are born, we are taught not to be, but to become. Become something or somebody. When to laugh, when to cry or not to cry, how do boys behave, how should girls be, what is right, what is wrong. And as we grow and continue to learn within these confines of culture, traditions, science, etc., we define our lives. We define what is funny and what is not. We define what is beauty and what is not. We define what is happy and what is not. This is not wrong by any means. I wouldn't be talking to you at this moment if I was not taught to communicate when I was a child. However, this kind of learning may be limited and may be contextual. To feel that this is all there is, to judge or confine events and people within the scope of our limited learning, to believe that there are only two sides to a coin, or that 2 + 2 should always equal 4, that, my friends, that could potentially be a problem and a source of all the stress and frustrations in our lives. Being is experiencing the rhythm of our ever-expanding perceptions. No strings attached. Not seeing with our eyes, not listening with our ears, not smelling with our nose, but perceiving in the light of the given moment as it presents itself to us, be it in the form of people with whom we live or work, or events that happen to us at that moment. So this is not the learned perception I'm talking about, because that is limited. I am talking about the perception that is fresh in every moment, without the past influences or future expectations. Call it meditative perception, if you will. I like it. Meditative perception. That morning on the beach, I was seeing the sunrise over the horizon, while my master was in the moment, meditatively perceiving the experience with his eyes closed. When we learn the art of meditative perception, then everything is magical. Sunrise, sunset, Grey clouds, snowy day, soap bubbles, why? Even the TV commercials. In my meditative state of being, I simply observe the learnt limitations fall away. And when I do that, I begin to experience a sense of incredible freedom and expansion of my consciousness, far too difficult to describe in words. And this experience flows into my daily life, my relationships, my productivity at work. It enriches and empowers my life. Recently, in one of my workshops, a lady asked me, "What do I wear for meditation?" I looked at her and said, "Be naked." There was a brief silence in that small group, and I saw several raised eyebrows. "No clothes?" a voice shot out from that group. And I replied, No, keep your clothes on. Just be naked. And that to me is the essence of learning to meditate. Being naked, really. Meditation is an experience of being stripped of the relative nature of our everyday lives. Stripped of relativity, period. It is an experience of being above the black and white, the likes and dislikes, the yin and yang, the Shiva and Shakti, the male and female, matter and energy, and so on. My master would often say, "You are not one, but three. The one you think you are, the one others think you are, and the one you really are." Meditation is being the one you really are. Being the one you really are. It is an experience of simply being as opposed to becoming, where we move away from the constant becoming of our daily lives. An example of becoming would be the I want madness. I want to be happy. I want to be rich. I want to be calm. And so on and so forth. We are constantly caught up in the act or desire to become something or somebody. The I want is the becoming part. When this becoming ceases, all you are left with is simply being. Being calm, being happy, being rich, etc., etc. So instead of trying to become something or somebody, let's just be. Anytime, any place, as long as we are just being, guess what? We are in meditation. And that is how we make meditation a way of life. Just be. Be well. Be willing. Be wise. Why do we have to meditate? To get a better view. What else? When in an airplane, it is a common experience for many of us to be in the midst of clouds as the airplane continues its ascent. Even after its ascent, sometimes, all we see are clouds. And then suddenly, the clouds part to reveal a wonderful landscape beneath. Almost all of us would love to take a step back occasionally and see things in a different, probably a wider perspective. You have heard of the phrase, get the bigger picture. Meditation does that. And more. It gifts you with a level of perception you have always wanted. And then surprises you with landscapes of your higher mind. Landscapes that you have never visualized or imagined. And your life is enriched. building perspectives, enriching lives. Almost always, we find ourselves being caught up in the nitty-gritties of life. There are times we justify our being victims of circumstances. Our future appears to be out of our sight. We think we do not know what may or may not happen. Thus, oftentimes being afraid of the future, we are not able to take decisions. And then there is the past, of course. We are also not able to deal with the past. There are things we love about the past, but then there are bitter memories too. Caught up in this seemingly unending motion of the seesaw between the past and the future, we lose the magic of being in the present. Meditation helps us in overcoming this limited perspective and enables us to perceive the future and the past as merged into the present. My master would call this omnipresent. What if I tell you that you have the ability to bring the past and future into the present? That you can be in the moment that gives you the vision of the future and yet somehow does not lose the experience of the past. Sounds like magic, doesn't it? Let me tell you another story. It was the Pushkar festival in Rajasthan, India. Pushkar is one of the holy cities of India, and mythology has it that during the full moon in the month of November, all the 330 million deities of the Hindu belief. There are 330 million deities. Now all of them come to bathe in the holy Pushkar lake. During this time, thousands of believers and devotees gather in this town to take a holy dip. And apart from these religious rituals, people from far and near gather to participate in a number of cultural and sporting events, now famously called the Camel Fair. That year, the variety of folk dances and songs lent vivid splashes of color and vibrancy to the atmosphere that was already charged with excitement of camel races and cattle fair. There were hundreds of shops selling camels, horses, bulls, cows, and much, much more. I was initially excited about being there. The music and the colorful dances, they had the charm of their own. But then, before I even knew it, I found myself caught up in the midst of this enormous crowd of people, and soon I lost all my bearings. I did not know what event was happening behind me or what was to come ahead. There were things I wanted to watch a little more, but they just kept passing by. People decided to push me and move to the front so they could watch the fun fair on the streets. Though everything was in the spirit of fun and holiness, after a while I felt pretty overwhelmed. I was being pushed all around, had no idea what direction the general crowd was moving, but just kept going with the crowd simply because everyone else was doing it. Suddenly, a friendly face appeared in the crowd, one of the holy men, I guess. "Looks like you're not enjoying this," he said. "I want to," I replied, "but I'm not able to see anything much. All these people keep blocking my view. This crowd is getting on my nerves." "Come with me," he said without a moment's hesitation, and held my hand. Not being given a chance to respond, I followed him. He stopped by a giant Ferris wheel and motioned me to get in. As I did, he smiled and said, "If you feel the crowd is getting to you, don't blame the crowd. That will not change anything. It will only make you angry. At such times, step away and take the Ferris wheel. From up there, you will see everything you wanted to see. You will be part of the festival and yet free from the crowds. Part of the festival and yet free from the crowds. The Ferris wheel started to rotate, pausing every few seconds. As I was gaining height, slowly but surely, I began to see the festivities in a perspective I never saw before. The whole panorama of the festival seemed to unfold itself before my eyes. The dances and events I lost sight of down below, thinking they were past and gone, now were once more in my line of sight. I noticed colorfully decorated camels coming down the road. From where I had stood earlier, this was something I would have had to wait for at least an hour or so to see. But now, suddenly from where I saw it, the future became the present. I could see where the parade began, where it ended. I saw the general direction the crowd was moving in. Everything was still the same. The songs, the dances, the kid falling down and wailing, the beggars on the street, the sick making their way to the lake for the holy dip. Nothing changed. Nothing changed. And yet, it appeared so different. Up there on the Ferris wheel that afternoon, I couldn't help thinking how everything in life was probably a matter of perception. What appeared to be the past and the future down below was now in the present from up here. And yet, there was nothing magical about it. There is no magic in meditation. And guess what? My vision was not limited to the festival alone. I could see the Pushkar lake, the beautiful temples, and much, much, much more. I was totally absorbed in the moment and yet a part of everything I saw. Life continues to throw the same challenges at us. Separation, illness, death. All these are as much a part of our lives as a child being born, or vacationing in a dream cruise, or watching our favorite TV show, relaxing in the privacy of our bedroom. So none of these events really change in our lives. They are all there, and perhaps they keep coming again and again. But what changes? What changes and has the potential to infinitely change is our perception. Meditative perception. With every turn of the Ferris wheel, we build a new perspective. And every time we open our hearts and minds to a different perspective, we continue to enrich our lives. And this goes on as long as we step in time with the silent rhythms of the Ferris wheel, moving in rhythm, breathing in rhythm, being in tune with the internal rhythms of our body, mind, and pulse, and slowly expanding to the silent rhythms of the universe and beyond. Every time we allow our perspectives to change and grow, we exploit the infinite potential of our true selves. Guess what stops you from realizing your infinite potential? Your limited perception. Change that to meditative perception. Build your perspectives. Enrich your lives. How to meditate? While there are a number of methods or techniques to meditate, traditionally, the path of yoga follows a method laid down by Patanjali. Somewhere between 200 BC and 200 AD in India, this guru or sage Patanjali introduced a path called Raja Yoga, meaning king among yoga paths. Raja Yoga is a journey from the gross to the subtle, from the body to the mind, and finally to the spirit. It advocates a simple yoga pose for the body, focuses on breath for the mind, thus leading to a state of equanimity where we experience the spirit. I would like to present this profound philosophy of Raja Yoga in 3 simple words or steps. Words that can be systematically learnt and practiced in our everyday life. And as I reveal each word, I will also share with you yoga techniques or perspectives that will help you understand and practice them. Okay? Are you ready? Here comes the first word. Discipline. 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 You're probably thinking, oh no, not that word again. Bear with me. It's not all that bad. While discipline is generally understood as a word that has an unending list of do's and don'ts, in yoga, discipline is the foundation of success, right? But this apparently dreaded word simply means balance. Yes, balance. And how do we incorporate balance in our daily lives? Simple, by learning how to through yoga. Some of the cornerstone poses in yoga are the balance poses. In simply practicing these poses, these balancing poses, it is believed, and it has been my experience, that we begin to achieve a sense of balance or moderation in our daily lives. Practicing these balancing yoga poses sows subconscious seeds of habitual alertness, so we never catch ourselves off guard. Yoga poses are physio-psychological in nature. They exploit the mind-body relationship to its fullest. Yoga perceives the body as a reflection of the mind, and the mind a reflection of the spirit. The posture that a body adopts influences the mind. When we sit down and close our eyes, the mind tends to relax. On the other hand, when we frown and grit our teeth, clenching our fingers into a fist, the mind gets an entirely different message altogether. One of the preliminary steps in Patanjali's 8-fold Raja Yoga path is that of internalizing the mind. And the balancing poses in yoga help in achieving exactly this. Withdrawing the mind from out there to in here. So I'm going to share with you simple but very profound balancing poses. These poses are essential prerequisites, if you will, to a meditation session. Literally, this is where meditation begins. The first pose is the mountain pose or Tadasana. Let's learn how to do this pose. Tadasana or the mountain pose. Tadasana is the Sanskrit name. This pose or asana again is the Sanskrit word for pose. This pose or asana is traditionally the first yoga pose that is taught to an aspiring student. And guess what? As simple as it may seem, after 35 and more years of practice, I am still learning this pose. The mountain pose is all about the mountain. The mountain is still, and in this pose, we attempt to find that stillness, the stillness within us.
Nature has given us an entire foot to stand upon, the right foot and the left foot. But due to our habits, we have tended to put weight on one foot or the other. We either stand on left foot, or we stand on the right foot, or we lean forward, or we lean backwards, putting too much pressure on the heels. Now, what happens because of this standing? An imbalanced pressure is put on the spine, and we tend to go this way. In Tadasana, what we learn to do is to put our weight equally on both our feet, the right foot and the left foot. We learn to balance the body weight completely in the front, the back of the feet, the right foot and the left foot. Now in the mountain pose, you might wonder, how do I stand now? Do I stand with my chest out? Do I pull my stomach in? Do I stand straight? You will be surprised. My master, when he taught me this pose, he said, stand. Where should my focus be, master? I asked him, and he said, drive your focus to the bottom of your feet. If the body weight is equally distributed on both your feet, back and front on each foot, your body will automatically be aligned. That is the secret of the mountain pose. The mountain is still because its base is solidly grounded to the earth. That provides the foundation for the stillness in the mountain. We are going to provide that same stillness with our feet. We stand here relaxed, shoulders relaxed, and generally the body is straight. Of course, you don't want to do this, but you want to stand relaxed, feet pointing straight ahead. Now you may want to notice here, my feet are absolutely parallel. Both my feet, the right foot and the left foot, are parallel to each other. Here's another concrete example of how most of us tend to stand with our feet pointing in different directions. This is a posture which is wrong. You want to do this, and many times in my workshops, when I ask people to stand like this, they get the feeling that the knees are turned in. They feel it's almost like this, but it's not. Standing straight is getting your knees aligned. The alignment of the knees aligns the pelvic region, the lower back, and the spine, and so on and so forth. So stand relaxed, keep your feet parallel, take a deep breath, and as you breathe out, close your eyes. In yoga, we are aware of every single movement, including the movement of our eyelids, especially when you're preparing yourself for meditation. We take it for granted. Oh, I need to focus, and you have closed your eyes without even realizing it. We do that like a subconscious habit. But here, we want to consciously close our eyes. So you breathe in, and as you breathe out, close your eyes gently. And as you close your eyes, you shift your awareness. Your awareness shifts right to the bottom of your feet. And with your eyes closed, you observe, where is the weight of my body? Is it on the right foot? Is it on the left foot? How can I distribute the weight equally? And there will be moments, there will be fleeting second or two where you will find perfect stillness, which is the feature of a mountain. Let's try this together. Stand straight, shoulders relaxed, hands by the side relaxed, body generally relaxed and comfortable. Take a deep breath. And as you breathe out, close your eyes. Shift your awareness to the bottom of your feet. Now let's play a little with our eyes closed. Shift the weight to the right foot. Observe the body weight shifting to the right foot. Shift the weight gently to the left foot. Shift the weight to the front of your feet. Shift the weight to the heels. You saw how the body moves? Now stand still and allow the body weight to be equally distributed to both your feet, the right foot and the left foot, to the front of your feet and to the heels. And while the weight gets evenly distributed, find the stillness. Keep breathing normally in and out and in silence. Let's do this for 30 seconds. Take a deep breath. As you breathe out, open your eyes. Did you observe with your eyes closed? When you're searching for that stillness, your body constantly is moving. A little bit forward, a little bit back, a little to the right, little to the left. And occasionally you would have found a fleeting moment of stillness. The practice is never ending. The search for stillness goes on. This is a wonderful exercise that prepares us for meditation. It draws our mind automatically, because now I engage my mind, the devil if you will, into how am I standing, where is my focus, whether I'm breathing in and out. It's so much internalized that this prepares me to sit down and meditate. This is a great way to begin a meditation session. That is a mountain pose or the Tadasana. Just standing straight and closing my eyes does not become a mountain pose. I have to consciously close my eyes as I breathe out. And as I breathe out and close my eyes, I want to shift my focus to the bottom of my feet. That is the difference between yoga poses and other exercises. Otherwise, there is no difference between a flexibility routine and a yoga routine. In yoga, there is a tremendous importance on focus and balance. Breathe out, shift your awareness to your feet, close your eyes, finding stillness. That is Tadasana. From the mountain pose, the next balancing pose is the tree pose. What grows on the mountain? Trees. So let's learn now to stand as a tree. Now that we learned the shifting of weight on either foot and both our feet, this helps us or prepares us to the next stage where we now shift our weight to one foot and learn to balance on one foot. Okay? This is the fundamental practice in this particular exercise. Let's see how to do this. Now, for beginners, I strongly recommend that you use a chair or some prop in front of you, okay, so that you don't tend to lose balance. Now, you cannot learn a tree pose by leaning against something. You don't want to do that. That is redundant. You want to keep a prop in front of you. It could be a post. If you're practicing in your basement and you have a pillar or a post in front of you, that works fine too. I'm going to demonstrate how the tree pose is done first, and then also demonstrate how you could do it with the help of a prop. We breathe in. Watch this first, and as you breathe out, you shift your weight to one foot. In this case, I'm going to shift my weight to the left foot. As I breathe out, I raise my right foot up and place my heel as high as I can. Okay, as high as I possibly can. In my case, I can go right up to the bottom or to the root of my thigh. Alright, my foot is pointing straight down. It's not placed like this. You see this? No. My foot is pointing, my toes are pointing straight down. My hip is opened up. My knee is pointing out, so it's squared up at the hip. Okay, my foot on the ground is pointing straight ahead. Like I said, yoga is all about precision, about focus, about balance. Alright, now you might wonder, how come I'm maintaining my balance so comfortably? Well, practice is one thing, but there's a secret to this. Okay, and I want you to remember this. When you keep your feet, your right foot, up here on the thigh, you use your heels and push against the thigh. The more you push in towards the thigh, the more it will help you to maintain balance. Alright, open up the knees. First get this pose and then breathe in. As you breathe out, join your palms in front of your chest. Breathe in and out. This is a tree pose. Breathe in. As you breathe out, slowly come off, come down to the mountain pose. Okay? Now I'm going to do with the help of a prop, and I'm going to give you probably an angle such as this one. So you could see me doing it. At the same time, you're going to see me holding the chair as a prop. Okay? So I breathe in. As I breathe out, with my hand on the chair, I raise one leg up. Now this gives me a lot of confidence because I need to pay attention. Where is my foot? Is it pointing straight ahead? If I'm looking here, my foot should be looking straight ahead. How's my knee? Is my knee opened out? Is my hip opened out? How is the foot which is on my thigh? Is it looking straight down and not placed like this? So you want to turn your foot to point it down. Now if you cannot do all this, it's okay. But you have to be aware and have a picture or a goal in front of you. And that is the idea here. It is not wrong to do this. It is not wrong if you cannot reach up here and you can reach only here. That's okay. It's not wrong. But again, it's not the optimum way of doing the yoga pose. You want to slowly start pushing yourself up and up and up and up till you reach the root of your thigh. And then, see this? I'm maintaining the pose. I'm just holding the chair, so that makes me more comfortable. Let's do this together. Okay, we'll try with the other leg now. Breathe in. Keep your feet parallel. Remember, you're in the mountain pose. You just came out of the mountain pose as you opened your eyes. Now you're getting into the tree pose. You breathe in. As you breathe out, hold the chair. Take one leg up. Place your feet as high as you can on the other thigh. Open up your knees. Breathe in. As you breathe out, join your palms together. Look straight ahead. Keep breathing in and out. Breathe in and out, peacefully, rhythmically. Take a deep breath. As you breathe out, get back into the mountain pose. It's very simple. The mountain and the tree pose are wonderful balancing exercises. You might say, I've already learned to stand. No, you just found out that with your eyes closed, you were still moving. We were still learning to stand still. Balance or discipline helps in providing the foundation, a strong foundation upon which we build this beautiful experience of meditation. And the third exercise in balance, you might be surprised, is the sitting pose. As long as we are not lying down, we are constantly balancing, because there is always a part of us that is resisting gravity. Correct? When I'm walking, when I'm running, when I'm standing, it has become such an everyday experience that we do not realize that this is part of our balance. But it is. We are sitting, we don't want to fall down. So again, you're resisting gravity, so you're learning to balance. Let's learn how now to sit for yoga. The third part of the balance is the sitting, as I explained to you. And we begin with various types of sitting postures. Sitting can be anywhere. You could sit on a chair or you could sit on a floor. I'm going to begin demonstrating to you as to how you could sit on a chair and comfortably meditate. Meditation is not struggling to sit straight. The benefit of meditation, the benefit of yoga, is not in the struggle to attain the pose. If you could use a prop to achieve the pose, by all means use it. The benefit is in maintaining the pose. Now, using a chair to sit is absolutely okay and is a welcome idea. For those of you who have never sat on the floor, who have never crossed your legs, you don't have to start struggling with that right away. The most important part in meditation, There is one place where we do not compromise, is the spine. The spine has to be straight. Now I have a chair which is going slightly backwards, but I'm not going to be sitting like this to meditate. Okay? The spine has to be straight. Because like I said, I need to send the message of alertness to my mind. Keeping the spine straight sends the message of alertness and focus. Keeping the spine drooped like this or laid back like this gives the message of, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to relax. I want to dream. I want to drift. Okay? You can do that when you watch a TV show, or you want to do that any other time but meditation. So if you can achieve, if I have a chair like this, and if I go right to the edge of the chair and support my lower back, every time I give support to my lower back and my butt, my back automatically and comfortably becomes straight. This is a crucial thing. So you can sit on a chair, keep your feet again. You want to make sure always, if you can cross your feet or at least bring it to this part is better. Why do we want to cross our feet? Why not just keep it this way? Now, Raja Yoga and yoga predominantly is a mind-body program. We are playing with our mind through our body. We approach our mind through our body, and that is very crucial here. Okay? What we are doing here is our feet, when it tends to be like this, open, it's ready to walk. It's ready to go out. Now we are telling our mind, hey, we are not getting and going anywhere. I'm not getting up. I'm not going anywhere. What do I want to do? I want to be here. So I lock my feet in. This sends a message to the mind as to, okay, I have to be here now. Alright? We are slowly internalizing ourselves. This is a very important stage in the eightfold path of Raja Yoga. The path or the step where you start withdrawing from the external to the internal. We did that with balance. Now we are doing that with the third stage of balance, which is simply sitting. So I'm sitting straight, my feet are crossed. We are going to take care of different parts of the body here. The spine, the feet, the hands, the eyes, and the face. Every single part of this body has to send a message to the mind saying internalize, internalize. And that's how automatically your mind grabs the message and goes within comfortably. There is no struggle, no fighting, no saying, I don't know why I'm not able to meditate. I don't know why I'm not able to concentrate. We'll get to that in a little bit. But here, so you can use a chair to sit. The next stage for those of us who want to use it, go a little lower. And this is not necessarily the lower the better, okay? It is simply your level of comfort. If you feel you're comfortable like this, watch again. I use a step stool. Sit on the mid of the step stool, so my lower back is supported, and I keep my legs crossed. My back is comfortably straight. Once again, if you want the front view of this, it's the same thing. Feet are crossed. You don't want to sit like this, however comfortable this may be. This is not recommended for meditation. You want to cross your feet. When you cross your feet, your mind gets the message. Okay, comfortably crossing your feet. This is a great way, a mid-range, if you will, between the chair and a floor cushion or just the floor, because this helps you to keep your feet below your waist so the blood continues to flow. And as long as there is blood flowing, you will avoid legs getting cramped. The third level for the advanced yogis is the floor cushion. Now if you notice, I'm sitting on the floor, and this is surprisingly, this is not really recommended in yoga. You will notice here again that when your knee is above the butt, the blood flow becomes a little more slower, and as you sit and prolong your sitting in meditation, it tends to cramp your legs. That is why yoga always recommends a floor cushion. Now, a couple of thousand years ago in India, you didn't have the concept of floor cushion, so they used a brick or a wooden plank to sit upon, but the principle remains the same. You could use a yoga brick to sit on this. You could use a flow cushion such as this one. I have this flow cushion here for a reason, because this is extremely soft. So you don't want to sit on something which gets completely pressed. So we do away with cushions like this. You want to get a flow cushion which is fairly thick and which can bear the weight of your body. Once again, sit on the edge of the flow cushion so your feet are on the floor. You want to keep that blood flowing down to your feet. In meditation, you want your mind to slowly move away from the body. After 5 minutes or 7 minutes of sitting, if your leg starts cramping and you start getting cramps and your leg starts hurting, you're constantly or throbbing, as the case may be, your mind starts coming back to the body. And instead of completely losing the body focus or the body consciousness and traveling to realms of your spirit, if you want to do that, you want to be able to keep this body comfortably locked in one position. Okay, and that is the reason why we want the blood to keep flowing here. Alright, so that is as far as the spine and the feet are concerned. Now once you progress here, you can keep it cross-legged. This cross-legged pose is a pose in yoga. Now if you're comfortable here, you could progress, or you may want to sit in the half lotus. These poses are taking the same message and fine-tuning it. The same message to the mind that I am not moving anywhere, I am going within, I am going within. My journey now is within, not outside. So one leg comes up, the mind really gets the message. And finally, in a lotus pose, where you lock both your feet in, when you lock both your feet in, your mind really gets the message, oh my gosh, this guy is meaning business. But do I have to sit in a lotus pose? Not necessarily, not at all. My favorite pose is the half lotus. I love the half lotus pose. It just almost immediately draws my mind within. Now that we have taken care of our legs, of our spine and the lower back, the next two messages we want to send to our mind through our body comes from the hands and the face. Let's take the hands for example. Just as we folded our legs, sending a message of internalizing ourselves, the message from the hands are sent this way, simply by achieving a famous pose or mudra. In yoga, all the poses by the hand, all the positions by the hand are called mudras. The message that we give to the brain or the mind from the hand is by locking our fingers. Why do we do this? This is a famous pose in yoga where the forefinger and the thumb are interlocked and the other three fingers are gently curled, not into a fist, not stretched out, okay, just gently relaxed. The idea here is the forefinger is the finger that you point out. When you want to talk to somebody and say, I want this, I want that, I want to see this guy, I like this one, I don't like that one. You complain, you point, everything is done by the forefinger. So the mind understands this as going out somewhere. So you take this finger now and fold it inside and lock it to the thumb, which is the foundation of your hand, and say, this is now not going outside but inside. So you're telling your mind, hey, stop going out, come within. So you maintain the circuit of your thoughts, the energy of your thoughts within your body. This is an excellent way of internalizing. This makes perfect sense to me. Instead of pointing out, I point it to myself. These hands can be placed here like this. You could place it internal like this. You could also place them like this. You could also place them like this. You could join them together, place them on top of each other like this. My favorite, keep it like this and keep it folded. This completely helps me in internalizing my body. Almost immediately, my mind calms down. The last and the most subtle and probably the most powerful stage in internalizing is closing our eyes. And you want to do this the last. Sit straight. First get your legs in so you're not walking anywhere out. Get your hands in place. Fold your fingers into the pose, the meditative mudra. So now your hands send the message. Your spine is straight and alert, so this is not the time where you're going to drift away, but you're going to stay alert and focused. The message is being sent strongly, and the final blow is when you close your eyes. When you close your eyes, you literally are cutting yourself from the outside connections and drawing your mind within. So you breathe in, and as you breathe out, you gently close your eyes. In yoga, there are various methods of focusing with the eyes. You focus on the tip of your nose, you focus in between your eyebrows. But for this stage, this workshop is just the beginning and the first stage in meditation. And unless you understand and are very comfortable in this first stage, and an inward craving starts and begins and wants you to sit more and learn more and explore more within you, that's when you progress to the next stage. And that second or the third or whatever stage that is, the next stage is outside the purview of this workshop. This workshop is simply to help you to begin, understand, and build a strong foundation in meditation. So we are not going to worry about focusing on the tip of the nose or focusing on a spot in the ground in front of us or focusing in between our eyebrows. Okay, we'll keep that for later. But I just threw it in there to tell you that that is there too. We are simply going to close our eyes. Comfortably keep it closed. Okay? We sat in a pose, we closed our eyes, and the mind gets the message and it calms down. Okay? This is where discipline reaches fruition, if you will. Okay? Just as a caterpillar is going to mature or burst forth into a butterfly, discipline reaches a fruition and then evolves into the next D. Do you want to hear the word? The word is devotion. I know what you're thinking. Devotion is a word which is commonly associated with religion or prayer. But in yoga, again, just as balance is associated with discipline, the word devotion is associated with focus, with being devoted to the moment. You have to be devoted to what you're doing. If I am in this pose, if I am in the tree pose, my breath, my mind, my sense of balance, everything is devoted to the moment. Being focused is being devoted. I am not merely playing with words here, but I want you to understand this, how this is related. If I sit with my eyes closed and adopting the perfect pose, the mind calms down. It's very simple. But then the problem or the limitation here is that how do I sustain this calmness? How many of us have struggled with controlling the mind even after achieving the pose? So we achieve this pose, we close our eyes. The first 1 minute it's wonderful, and after that, boom, again the mind goes all over the place. It's going to what you did, what you're going to do, what your boss said and what your wife said, or what your husband said, what your kids are doing, and then you're caught up in the external world that overpowers you. So how do you sustain this calmness? How do you sustain the sense of focus? So discipline has got you this far, and now you evolve to devotion of focus. How do I keep my mind calm and focused? The bridge that connects your body and mind in yoga is the breath. The breath is the tool that takes your mind away from the body and deeper into the spirit. into the mind. The breath, the breath, the breath. It is all about the breath. Again, it's common sense. When you're angry, when you're upset, how do you breathe? When you're in prayer, when you're calmly watching a sunset, how do you breathe? Breathing again is a reflection of your mind. While the body reflects the state of your health, the breath reflects the state of your mind. And once in deep meditation, your focused and calm mind will reflect the presence of your spirit. The body, the breath, the mind and the spirit. The body and breath are mere tools. The mind is just a bundle of thoughts. It really doesn't exist. If all thoughts cease, where is the mind? But then what truly exists is the spirit. And to experience that spirit and to be in the presence is true being. Simply being and experiencing the one you really are. That is the purpose of yoga meditation. So when we do this focus on breath, it is done through simple rhythmic breathing. How do I do this? Let's do this for fun. Now, at the count of 3, I want you to do one cycle of breathing. One full cycle of breathing. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. One full cycle of breathing. Okay. Now, I wouldn't be mistaken if most of you who are watching this workshop or DVD would have started with breathing in. We inhaled and then we exhaled. Wonderful. And we said, okay, I'm done with one cycle of breathing. What next? Here is a fundamental principle in yoga, which points out to the fallacy that we often get into, the mistake. In yoga, breathing begins with exhalation. You breathe out first, then you breathe in. Breathing in is natural. We all have an instinct to survive. That is inbuilt into our psyche. That is inbuilt into this evolution of consciousness, into this evolution of creation, if you will. Nobody teaches us to breathe in. And nobody teaches us to breathe out too. But over the number of years, over these bad habits that we have cultivated, while we breathe in, we breathe out very less. We breathe out very less. All the shallow breathing is not about how much you breathe in. Shallow breathing is all about why you are not able to empty your lungs. Empty your lungs. You will automatically fill it again. Learn to empty your lungs. Learn to empty your lungs. Learn to exhale. Learn to exhale. Learn to give out. My master, when he caught us on the wrong foot, for the very first time many years ago, he said, charity begins with your breath. Learn to give. That which is most precious to me, that which I cling to, is the cause of all stress. My inability to breathe. My inability to exhale fully. When I learn to exhale fully, and here's a wonderful lesson that I want you to take home. When I learn to exhale fully, when I learn to breathe out fully, I learn to give. I learn to give something that is most precious and not be stressed out about it. My most precious breath, the breath that keeps me alive, it goes away. And I breathe out fully. And then I breathe in. When I learn to give out, I learn to let go. When I learn to let go, I learn to be less stressful, less frustrated, less irritated. Everything then comes within my stride. The beauty of yogic breathing, therefore, begins with exhalation and focuses on exhalation. Always keep your focus on how you breathe out. Now, this is something you can do when you're driving, when you are walking, when you are running, when you are reading a book, anytime you want to focus your breath, think of how much am I breathing out. Okay? The simple and the most powerful, again, the simplest exercises in yoga are the they are powerful because they build you a strong foundation. Okay? Is the rhythmic breathing, where the ratio is 1:2. You breathe in for 1 count, you breathe out for 2 counts. Or you breathe in for 4 counts, you breathe out for 8 counts. Now, when you breathe out for 8 counts, what you're learning is you're not breathing out more than what you breathe in, but you're learning to empty your lungs totally. 4:8, 1:2, 2:4, 4:8. What we are going to do now, I'm going to guide you, and let's have some fun and practice this rhythmic breathing. We are going to breathe in for 4 seconds and breathe out for 8 seconds. Breathe in for 4 seconds, breathe out for 8 seconds. Okay? So let's begin this exercise. Let's begin with an exhalation. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pause. Now, you would have noticed that for the first couple of rounds, it was a little difficult to get into the rhythm. Don't worry, there is nothing wrong or right about it. It will take a couple of cycles for you to get into the rhythm, because the first time you start breathing out, you wouldn't have taken a good deal of breath, so you might run out of breath. And then when you inhale, you're struggling and you're inhaling to the full capacity, and then again you're struggling to breathe out for the full 8 counts. But it is only a matter of few rounds, a few cycles before you get into the rhythm. And once you get into the rhythm, the practice goes on. You breathe in for 4 counts, you breathe out for 8 counts. You breathe in for 4 counts, you breathe out for 8 counts. And that, my friend, will keep your mind and to sustained calmness. And that, my friends, will help your mind to stay focused. Breath is what helps you to stay devoted to the moment. Discipline fructifies into devotion. And this wonderful rhythm is hypnotic. It takes you within and stays there and helps you to achieve that state of being naked. You have no time to think about the past, the future. You're totally engrossed in the breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. And every time you breathe out, you're breathing out double of what you breathe in. You're learning to give out more. You give out to the universe more. You learn to give out to the community more. You learn to give out yourself more. You're more productive. You're a better person at home, in your relationships, at work. Everything happens as if it were magic, but you and I know now that it is no magic. These are simple, subconscious seeds of habit sown in the mind through the practice of yoga and breathing. In the first stage of yoga, we learn discipline, we learn devotion. And after the 10 minutes of breathing in and out rhythmically, we simply sit in silence. Now devotion fructifies or fruitions or evolves into the third D, and that is detachment. Your spirit gets detached, as it were, from the body, from the mind, and streams out into the universe. Your consciousness begins to expand beyond you. In the state of simple being, as I mentioned to you earlier, you will experience. Don't look for this. Allow it to happen. This is actually the state of meditation. And this is one state you can never be taught. All that we learnt are methods to reach the state. In the state of ultimate being, you just let go. Don't look for any experience. Don't look for the tingling of the spine or the blue lights and the green lights and the vibrations going up the chakras. Drop all that. That is all the yin and yang and all the ups and downs which we want to drop off. Allow your spirit to simply be. And in that perfect being, you will experience an expansion of consciousness beyond belief. And that is why when you come out of meditation, you come energized. You become so calm. You become so healthy. Stress control or stress reduction through meditation, getting better health through meditation, all these are incidental benefits. Just being yourself is a real benefit. That is the secret of meditation. Discipline evolves to devotion. Devotion evolves to detachment. These are the 3 Ds that will help you understand and appreciate this wonderful path of meditation through Raja Yoga, the Eightfold Path. Alright? So let's begin this practice of rhythmic breathing and just practice this for 2 minutes. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Enjoy the silent rhythms of your breath, of the pulse. Let these silent rhythms help you tune into the rhythms of the universe. Take a deep breath, and as you breathe out, gently open your eyes. My dear friends, this is meditation. To be in the silent rhythms of your being, enjoying, experiencing, and being totally aware. I hope you had a good time. and you had an opportunity to learn. I had a wonderful time sharing my perspectives with you. And until we meet again, hopefully for the second stage in meditation, be well, be willing, be wise. Namaste.